Hi, I'm Ross, lifetime natural bodybuilder, and in this video you're going to watch a simple yet very effective leg building workout. This is done on the Monday, the first training day of the week. Before I start though, if I could remind you that I've got a Q&A coming up. Any questions that you have about training or otherwise, then leave them in the comments section below. Alternatively, check out the community tab, be in the first post. Any questions you've got, put them in the comments section of that post. Also, if you're interested in seeing either a live stream or review video of the up-and-coming 2020 Olympia competition, then let me know. I've had a few people ask in the past. So I'll consider paying for the video pass, which is about 50 quid, I think. If you're interested in seeing that and have me commentating over the proceedings, then let me know in the comment section of this video. So I'll get into the training now. First off, obviously, squats, the most important exercise for any leg workout. After a lengthy warm-up, which consisted of some foam rolling, static stretching and dynamic work, more so for me really because I'm tight, I feel like I need it more. My cold flexibility is a lot worse than John's. Cold flexibility is the flexibility you exhibit on a daily basis at any time without a warm-up. So obviously the better that is, then the less warming up you need to be able to get into a position that's comfortable. So for anyone that struggles with the squat, feels tight or uncomfortable, then check out the description box below and there'll be a link in there for a video I did very recently, my entire squat warm-up routine for tight people, so check that out if you're having problems. So the aim of the game with the squats is to work up to a heavy set of 3. To give you an idea of the weights that I was lifting, I did the bar, 2 sets of 6 at 60 kilos, 3 at 100, 3 at 130, 3 at 145, 1 at 155 before putting on the belt for my working set, 3 at 165, which felt okay. It's 5k more than last week, and I feel confident that I can continue to add about 5k each week going forwards, as long as I eat enough food. And the reason for that is I'm not at peak strength levels. I think I'm about 30k off, give or take, so still got a way to go. On the other hand, John is at peak strength levels. He's at the strongest he's ever been, so he really has to fight for every kilo on the bar. Unless he can drastically improve his body weight, it's going to be hard going for sure. John worked up to 197.5 for a good 3 before we did one more set each, just for 1 rep, before moving back down for another 3 sets of 3. I used 172.5, John 207.5, and the reason behind that is it's another heavy set. It's mentally quite beneficial going into next session, knowing that you've already done more weight. And really, it's, the specifics of training. If you want to improve your 1 rep max, then at some point you're going to have to do multiple sets of heavy weight relative to yourself for low reps, 1 to 3, maybe up to 5 reps. It's no good doing sets of 12 if you want to improve your 1 rep max, because the adaptations that will occur won't be specific to the goal that you have. So after that, we moved back down for 3 sets of 3 with a pause on some of the reps. For myself, I was using 150, 140 and then 130. And really these are to reiterate good form, especially with the pause. It really helps kind of make sure the squat's very, very honest. There's no issues with depth, obviously. Going all the way down, you're just making the squat harder than it would usually be if you're working sets. That's kind of the thought process behind it. If you can squat a weight full depth and pause at the bottom for 2 seconds, then obviously when you come to squatting that regularly, it's going to be very easy and you're mentally going to be completely confident that you can do that. Then we moved on to Trackpad Deadlifts, a very, very nice alternative to a regular deadlift. It puts a lot more emphasis on the quads, especially just above the knee. It's almost like doing lockouts on the leg press when you're kind of keeping the tension on that last third of the movement. I would say this movement's quite akin to that. Obviously, there's glute and lower back work going on here. You can't fully isolate the quads, but there's certainly a lot more quads than if you're doing regular deadlifts. Plus, regular deadlifts obviously put a lot more strain on the lower back. It's a lot more risky in terms of where the bar is in relation to the body, because you have to kind of lean forward and the bar is obviously in front of the shins, and you've got to be really, really careful with your form. Whereas this version is a lot safer. Wasn't anywhere near as worried about my lower back doing these, even with relatively heavy weights. It just felt comfortable, obviously, because the weight's either side of you. It's in line with your body. That's why it obviously represents so much more of a squat than a traditional deadlift, because you can kind of squat down somewhat into the gaps between the bars, which you just wouldn't be able to do with a deadlift. If you were to do this technique with the regular bar deadlift, the weight would have to come out in front of you. you'd have to almost extend your arms, a foot and a half away from the feet, which obviously wouldn't end well for your lower back. So yeah, really enjoyed that, and a solid alternative to a regular deadlift, which puts more emphasis on the legs. So if your gym has this bar, or if you have a home gym, then I'd strongly recommend getting one of these. Really enjoyed it. So worked up to a relatively heavy set of 6, and then took it back down for constant tension for 10 reps at slightly lighter weight. Add them in on leg day. There's no reason to do those on back day. It's just going to eat into your time spent doing your rows, pull downs and chins and what have you. Far better to do that on leg day. Then we move on to the last few exercises, the isolation work for higher reps in general. So we did leg curls, 4 sets, around about 8 to 12 reps myself, maybe a little bit higher on the quad extensions, I think working up to maybe 15. For me, the hamstring curl feels really, really good. It's just spot on in terms of the tension. Very, very difficult, but I feel it in my hamstrings much more than I've ever felt any hamstring curl in any commercial gym before. So it's amazing what you can kind of set up in a home gym environment. So for me, hamstrings still need work. They're lagging in terms of strength. I mean, a few years ago, they were kind of non-existent really aesthetically, and I've put a lot of work into the hamstrings, and they look fairly balanced, but could still do with a little bit more beef in the hamstring area. Quad extensions went well. You just got to push through the pain on those guys. It's not really so much about weight. It's just about getting the tension on the muscle and just keeping it moving, working through that pain zone. And now calves, really, really simple. John prefers to do double. I prefer single leg calf raises, just using body weight for this session. Great pump. Calves felt really, really solid after, so it's good enough. We'll perhaps use heavier weight on the next session. So thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, then please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to see more. Check out my Instagram page, the link is in the description box below. Stay strong.